the schedule there, meaning his possible return will have missed games tonight at the Patriots, home against the Jets and Dolphins, and then a roadie in Chicago before he's eligible to return. Buffalo, of course, came into the season and for most of this season, the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl at CBS Sportsbook. However, even though they've won a couple games after sliding there, the Kansas City Chiefs have leapfrogged them for top spot on the betting board. All right, let's break down this breaking news with our NFL analyst, Ledger Douzable. So again, Von Miller, we know why he came to Buffalo and how important he is to Sean McDermott in Buffalo. What's your first reaction to the news putting him on IR here?
This is a massive blow because Von literally was just on this podcast, Tommy, talking about I most likely could be back, 2 weeks from now versus the New York Jets. And now to hear the news that he's going to IR, something must have come out medically that the Bills weren't expecting or maybe expecting, and that's why they didn't want to put him on IR right away. They were hoping out that he could maybe come back before that 4-week period, but now it looks like he will be out all the way until that Bengals game at the earliest to come back. And this is a massive blow for the Buffalo Bills. You talked about it. Everybody knows why Von Miller came to the Buffalo Bills. 13 seconds, right? It's in their head. They needed a closer, and he closed for them when they played the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a guy that has 8 sacks already this year, and he just does more than pass rush. He's an emotional leader on that team. The way he sets the edge in the run game is second to none. He's been doing it for over 10 years at this league in a high level. And he really brought Greg Rousseau along too, right? He was having a heck of a start to the season before he got hurt. Now the good thing for the Bills is it looks like he could potentially come back tonight versus the Pats, but they're going to miss Von Miller badly.
It's interesting. Von Miller personally trying to do a little bit of like the LeBron James thing, which is win 3 titles with 3 different teams.
Yeah.
The bigger question also then becomes, Ledger, 4 weeks at a minimum for IR, but a lot of Bills Mafia will argue, do we really need Von Miller until the playoffs? Can we hold him off until maybe at least January because of what the Chiefs, though, have done? What do you think about maybe holding off as long as you can with him?
I mean, you got to be smart. This isn't a young player. Now, Von does a great job of taking care of his body. He still looks like he's only 27 years old out there on that field, but you have to be smart with a guy that has a lower body injury coming back from injury. Now, granted, the Bills would probably hope that they were in a different situation in the AFC East, but you see it on the screen right there. They're in a dogfight, and they're 0-2 in the division. They got to start rattling off some of these division wins, or they're not going to get a home playoff game. So on one hand, yes, you want to bring your closer back as quick as possible, but you also have to be smart. You just have to get into the playoffs and hope that Von Miller is close to 80 to 90% to be that closer for you in the playoffs. You don't want to rush him back and then potentially hurt him, and now he's out for the rest of the playoffs.
You brought up Rousseau. We know Ed Oliver has been playing well. Leslie Frazier likes to rotate, especially that defensive lineman group and that front seven. So Von Miller's out for 4 games. How do you anticipate the scheme? Will it change or any type of drop-off? And we know there's going to be a drop-off. The question is how much?
Yeah, with Leslie Frazier, the scheme is the scheme. They play that cover 2 defense. They disguise it, and they're multiple with it. But as you talked about, Tommy, right, they rotate that defensive line. Epineza is going to have to step up. Greg Rousseau, after being out for a couple of weeks, he's going to have to step up. Ed Oliver, last week, that was the game they've been waiting for Ed Oliver to have. He was AFC Defensive Player of the Week. He stepped up. Tim Settle, he's going to have to step up. They're just going to continue to rotate guys. Tremaine Edmonds comes back from injury. That'll help shore up that front seven as well. But it's going to be defensive line by committee. That's what the Bills were before they went and got Von Miller, and that's what they'll be while he's out for these next 4 weeks.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.